and welcome to my NYC apartment hunting video. So just want to give a quick disclaimer that these apartments that you're going to see are from when I was looking for one in 2022. So it's the pricing and how, the type of apartments that were available at the time might not be reflective of what the market is like in 2023, but still thought it would be nice to see what's out there, And I even went back onto Street Easy and looked for apartments in the same building that were either on the same, line, so similar layout, or on the same floor, and updated the pricing to show you what the price would probably be now, based off of that, and so that you can compare from 2022 prices to 2023 prices. Okay, now getting into kind of what was I looking for. So I was looking for studio to 1 bedrooms under 3,000, and I'm going to be looking down for a bit to read this entire list, but I'm going to go through my must-have to nice-to-haves. So starting with the must-haves, I wanted no more than a 3rd or 4th floor walk-up, laundry in building, no north-facing windows, not on the ground floor, less than a 10-minute walk to the train station, AC, gas stove, nice bathroom with a bathtub. Now to nice-to-have, so things that it would be great if they have it, but it's not like a deal breaker. So elevator, washer and dryer in unit, but no hybrid. Central AC temperature control, which is different from an AC because you can control the heating as well. Gym, rooftop, courtyard, balcony, terrace, so overall outdoor space. Doorman, near a park. Package room, south-facing windows. Lounge, and can fit a queen-size bed. So next part, you're going to see all the apartments that I looked at. I looked at 7 in total. I'll do a voiceover explaining kind of my thought process and what I thought about the units. And I want y'all to, before the ending of the video, and I'll, put a part there so that you can take a pause, to guess which apartment that I end up choosing. Okay, and I want you to pause the video once I do the 7th apartment, and then write in the comments which one that you thought I picked, and then continue watching the video, of course, to find out which apartment I actually picked, and then see if it's a surprise for you. I just want to see if people can figure it out. All right, see you soon. Starting off with apartment number 1. So this is an alcove studio. As you can see, it was going for $21.50 at the time. I actually checked Street Easy, and it's now going for about $24.95. So as you can see, it has a lot of all of my must-have to nice-to-haves. The funny thing is, a lot of the cons were big cons. So it's an alcove studio, which normally is a good thing, but all the windows were in the sleeping area space. So because the alcove was blocking the sunlight from coming into the living space, which would mean that you probably have all your lights on when you have to eat, do anything in that living area space, which to me would just jack up your cognizant bill. That's just my personal thoughts. Also, you can see in the sleeping space, there is a twin-size bed. That's what the person who was currently living there was using, because you couldn't fit a queen-size bed in that space because of the way it was set up. Speaking of the person who was currently staying there, I did my research and found out that this same unit was listed 6 months prior in the summertime for less money. I asked the broker about it when I came to visit, and he let me know that the person was breaking their lease, which I thought was a little weird. And then also, if they're breaking their lease, why wouldn't you give me a deal? That's strange. So now we're up at the rooftop. So the rooftop's super nice, standard rooftop. Had nice little greenery, some chairs. It's one of the taller buildings in the area, so you get a nice view of the skyline and everything. And one thing I did like was that it was open year round because this was the winter time, and I was able to see it. And I know some buildings I would go to, they would close off their outdoor space during the winter, which I thought was pretty weird because, global warming. There's just random warm days in New York City. I want to go to my rooftop. Why not? Another thing I wanted to add about this building was that it had over $2,000 of non-refundable condo fees. Super fun. Not. Just wanted to add that, some buildings will really be out here charging you. They were charging a $300 application fee, which, I thought that was illegal. Apparently, they can charge you, co-ops and condos can charge you a fee wherever they want. It's only landlords who can't charge you an application fee that's over $20. So keep that in mind. And also there was a broker fee, but the broker was like, that's negotiable, which you mean you can't find anybody to pay that. But they wouldn't make me feel special, of course. So this is a gym. So this is another thing about this building. The first 6 floors actually belong to a hotel, and then the 7th floor and up belongs to the condo. So you're sharing this gym with people who stay at the hotel, which is a little weird, I guess, in my opinion. But hey, if it works for you, works for you. Who cares? As long as it's open and not busy. That's all I care about. Now we're here at the lobby. So the lobby is super nice. You can see it's a little dim for my liking, but hey, who am I to complain? This is also where your part-time doorman sits, which is kind of cool. I wish it was more like, you know, better lit, but for the most part, it's nice for what it is. Now moving on to apartment number 2. So this is a walk up. Kind of a little old school vibe. I liked it, you know, as opposed to like the more newer builds. I can't remember what floor it was on, honestly, but it was 651 square feet and it was going for $2,250 and it was listed as a 1-bedroom apartment. So, interesting thing about this unit was that it used to be an Airbnb / bed and breakfast. And the reason why that's important is you can see there is a keypad instead of a normal like key lock, which is a little different. You know, something you just need to get used to. Also, as you can see, the whole unit was fully furnished. And I tried to turn on the hot water in the kitchen and it wasn't turning on. So the broker, who was the person who was showing me the place, actually was messing around with it while I was taking the rest of my videos and going around. Eventually it did turn on, but that was a little bit of a red flag for me. So as I mentioned before, I know I said that this was a 1-bedroom. Come to find out when I came, it was really more of a junior 1-bedroom because the only thing separating the living space from the bedroom space was these glass French doors, and the bathroom was actually where the sleeping area was. So if you had guests over, they had to go through your bedroom anyway. To me, I feel like it would have been better if they just would have listed it as a studio, and then people would have been like happily surprised that was a junior bedroom instead, as opposed to listing it as a 1-bedroom and then coming to find out that it really was a 1-bedroom. The bathroom was nice and all. It just had a stand-in, you know, shower, and I need my beds personally. So I know I talked about the fact that it was fully furnished. That actually is a con because the owners wanted to rent it out fully furnished, and I felt a little weird about that because the way I envisioned being able to move into my apartment, I wanted to be able to put my own furniture in. So, you know, just something to think about. So now we're going downstairs to go to the laundry room. So laundry being in the basement is absolutely normal. The only thing was it was down these like steep, narrow steps, and there was barely a railing in the cut at the bottom. I almost fell, as you can see. So now we're in the basement, and it had these random gym equipment over there. So I'm gonna ask. So I asked the broker I was with, is this for the people in, you know, the townhouse? It was a townhouse. So he was like, actually, it belongs to someone who lives in a townhouse, but you can ask to see, you know, if they'll let you use it, which translates to me, no. I am not banging on that. So this was the laundry room. Did you see what I saw? 1 washer, 1 dryer for a whole townhouse full of people. So if one of these machines were to break, you're back at the laundromat. So what was the point? That's all I'm saying. Like, granted, yes, technically, it's free, but is it worth it, really? Like, come on, the best that'll happen is the dryer breaks, and then you could just air dry your stuff in your apartment, but that's just setting yourself up for mold. But I digress. So another thing that ended up happening is when I left, you see the sign right here. It says the doorbell's broken, so you'd have to come downstairs and come get your guests. Moving on to apartment number 3. Honestly, I don't even know why I'm showing y'all this because it was a catfish. Not in terms that this unit didn't exist, but they sent me this video. I scheduled my viewing. I came, and then they told me instead that this unit wasn't available, but they showed me units on the 2nd and 3rd floor. This was an 8-floor unit. Are you kidding me? But just for the sake of it, it was 640 square feet, and it was going for $2,542, if you want to know. But in my reality, it never existed because I never saw it. This is just a video that they sent me. Oh, look at the washer and dryer in unit. That's great. Never saw it. Do I know it exists? No. My reality is what I saw. So in terms of what I believe, this place isn't real. Probably is. Someone's living there. It's just not me, obviously. Moving on to apartment number 4. It was a 1-bedroom, 700 square feet. And was going for $2,800. I checked on Street Easy, and a similar unit in the building is going for $2,850 now. So it was a good unit and all. The whole thing was there was a broker fee, and the broker was not trying to budge on that. And he wasn't, to me, like too friendly and knowledgeable of the building because I was asking to see the lounge. I was asking to see the second laundry room, and he acted like this was the first time he was hearing of any of these things. So if you're gonna charge people a broker fee and, you know, act like your stuff don't stink, I'm gonna need you to at least know the building that you're showing, bare minimum. So this is the 1 laundry room because as far as I'm concerned, it's the only one that exists, which is nice. It was cool or whatever. was okay. On to apartment number 5. So this is one of those like newer builds, and it looked nice. Like aesthetically, I will say this was probably one of the nicer looking units, buildings, everything. But everything is not as good as it seems. You know what they say, like all that glitters ain't gold? We'll get to that. So it was a 1 bedroom, 651 square feet. At the time going for 2,800, but similar unit on a similar floor is going now for about 3,300, which wow. So the cons of this place, it actually was more than a 10-minute walk to the better train station. So there's a train station that has 4 lines, but it's like an 8-minute walk from a train station that only has 2 lines. And to me, for the price, I'd rather go live near the train station that has 4 lines. It's a New York thing. I don't know how to explain it. But moving on, I didn't like the area overall in general too. And I actually was able to speak to a tenant who was, lived there. And I got just the overall vibe that it just wasn't the place to be. You know what I mean? And it's great to hear directly from the people who are experiencing it. So I decided to go do my research, and I actually was able to pull up some reviews online. And I can talk about how I do that. And people were complaining about the management. So they were apparently like changing managements all the time. So it's hard for tenants to even figure out who to speak to if they had issues, and they were having issues. So even though it looks nice, like things were breaking down. Oh, and another random thing, even though there was a doorman at the bottom, the lobby, whatever, they were having the tenants come downstairs to come and pick up like their DoorDash and Uber Eats, and I thought that that kind of defeats the purpose, and I'd rather just live in a regular building and let them come up, So this is the lounge area, which was nice because it was like above ground, like actually attached to a rooftop, so on top of the building. It was like super sunny and everything, and as you can see, like you can have access to the rooftop all year round, which is super dope. It was so nice. It just looked so good, but just underneath it all, it was just some bad stuff. Oh, that sucked. Moving on to apartment number 6. And as you can see, ooh, child, it was a doozy. So this unit was a studio apartment, 595 square feet. It was going for $2,450, and I checked on Street Easy, and a similar unit is also going for $2,450. So with this one, as you can see, there was a lot going on here. All right. Now the thing was, apparently the last tenant who stayed there did leave it a mess, but they also were fixing it. Like they were regrouting the bathroom, so it was really hard to figure out what was mess, because it was just like debris from them redoing the unit as opposed to just like the dirt and stuff left by the previous tenant. Like you can see here, I was videotaping everything, right? I didn't want to take any chances. Like even that like rust that's underneath the sink, I know, like, is that rust or is that roach droppings? Who knows, right? It's like a fun game. Not really. So I was opening all the cabinets, and as you can see, like the counter is messy, but it's like, okay, they're fixing up the counter. But as you see in some of the cabinets, the tenant just left some stuff too, so it was hard to decipher which was which, right? Like this one, oh my god, disgusting. Obviously that was the tenant who left that, right? So let me back up a little bit. Even to be able to see this unit, and then was a lot to then end up seeing it and seeing that it was like this. So I saw it on Street Easy, and I called the number that was there for like the leasing management, and I was like leaving voicemails. I wasn't getting called back. I eventually was able to call them and got the guy on the phone, and he was just being weirdly dodgy. Like he wasn't pressed to rent out the unit for some reason. So when I finally got to schedule to come and view it, it was actually the super who let me in. The broker did not come and meet me, and so I couldn't ask all the questions I need to ask, especially once I saw the state of the unit, because broker wasn't there. So another thing, when I actually like called the broker back to tell him after I saw the unit and what it looked like, he informed me that I wouldn't have the opportunity to do a walkthrough if I was like, I put in my application and then, they gave me the lease. I wouldn't get the opportunity to do a walkthrough before I signed the lease. Could you imagine that? Are you serious? Like, so you want me to sign a lease with my last memory of this unit being this, and I'm supposed to just trust that y'all are gonna fix it? Okay. So this is the rooftop, and this was probably the most redeeming quality of the building, so I'll give them that. Like, they're building, but they get an A for the rooftop. At least it was nice, it was sunny, it was cute, it was all like furnished and finished and everything like that. So I'll definitely give them an A for the rooftop. So now moving forward, we have the gym. I wasn't a big workout person at all, but I thought if I got a building that had a gym, I'll work out because it's right there. And yeah, so to me, that was a plus. I'll give them that. The fact that they even had a gym in the building, that gave them a little bit more of a head start or advantage. Now moving on to apartment number 7. So this was a studio apartment. It was 454 square feet, going for $26.95, and it had on paper all of my must-haves to nice-to-haves, but the layout was awkward. It was pretty small, and you'll see in a minute, like if you look out the window, that it was facing the balconies of other units. So to me, it just felt like people could see straight in. And also, as big as that window was, it was still dark in the unit, and I thought that was weird. Like, I've been in cheaper units that were bigger, that had a lot more sunlight, so it just didn't seem like a good fit for me. Hi, I'm back. So this is where you would pause and put in the comment section the number apartment of the one that you thought I chose. So pause right here. I'm assuming you pause. Okay, so the apartment I ended up choosing was apartment 6. I know, yes, the apartment where I wasn't able to do a final walkthrough before I signed my lease. And I'm going to tell you right now, in no way, shape, or form am I advocating in any way for you to do that. I would never say that you should do that. And funny enough, I didn't say this in my voiceover for that apartment, but I also wanted to add this a little bit. This is not going to help my case in any way. But the apartment number 1, the broker that showed me that apartment actually wanted to show me a unit in that building. And I told him absolutely not. And the reason being is that building, the one I ended up, moving to apartment 6, is actually on top of a restaurant. And not just any restaurant, one of the most popping brunch spots, right? So one, normally people say don't live on top of any type of food place because pest, right? But let alone to live on like a real like lit spot. In my mind, I was like, I'm never gonna know peace. I'm never gonna be able to sleep. These people are gonna be up all night partying, all this stuff, right? So I didn't even want to look at the apartment when that broker tried to show it to me. And funny enough, apartment 6 was the last apartment I viewed. So that's one of the reasons why I did sign. Be real with you, because I wanted to move winter of 2022. So if you know anything about the NYC housing market, it gets busy. So there are a lot more units on the market during the spring and summer, but they're also more expensive. So I wanted to be able to move before that time, and I ended up signing my lease March 1st. So a lot of the apartments that you saw were from like January, February, like I let them last. And one of the things was I was trying to like negotiate with the brokers for maybe, because like they had a broker's fee and I didn't want to pay that, and I wanted to negotiate down the rent, and they wasn't having that. And then somebody came along and decided that they want the apartment, but I was like, nah, I'm gonna hold out, I'm gonna find my place, right? So then I ended up seeing this apartment and viewing it. I said everything in there. And funny enough, when I ended up talking to the leasing manager, I was able to negotiate down my rent. So I know I had it up there for $24.50. That was the listing price, but I actually was able to negotiate it down to $2,400, which I know it's not that much in the grand scheme of thing. And you actually had to pay an amenity fee for the gym. Oh, wow. It was $30. So in all actuality, they wanted about like $24.80. And I was able to essentially talk them down to like $24.30, including the amenity fee. And I tried to get rid of the amenity fee, get it waived. He was not budging. It was annoying. So yeah, and I actually wanted to add that bit, because if you saw, I put that it listed for $24.50, and it's listing currently, I'll tell you that right now, for $24.50. And that is important because that actually ended up also being a rent stabilized apartment unit or building in general. And I believe in this in general, even if your apartment isn't rent stabilized, rent controlled, what have you, but especially if it is, try and negotiate, because not only does it help you, it helps the next person. Because in my opinion, the fact that I negotiated down my lease when they went at 2450 and I negotiated down to like 2400. I feel like, well, not I feel, I know they could only raise a certain amount percentage wise based off of that, and they're putting it back on the market for pretty much the same price, you know, that they wanted before. So yeah, just take that in mind. And I can make a separate video about, in general, like apartment hunting tips, a lot of things that I did in order to kind of be confident in the apartment I was going to end up choosing. Another thing to say about why I picked that spot too, actually a few more things, was one, and this was super creepy, I was like standing outside the apartment after I viewed it, and I was waiting for people to like walk in who lived in the building. I ended up seeing a group of girls who were kind of my age, like in their 20s or so. And I just went up to them and I was like, hey, do any of y'all like live in this building? Some of them did. Some of them, I guess, they were just friends of the people. And the girl who did live there, she was talking to me, and I just asked her straight up, do you like it here? I like viewed an apartment here, and I don't know. I'm just trying to see if you like it. And she was like, yeah, I love it here. It's great. Oh my God. And blah, blah, blah. So the fact that I heard from someone who lived there that they liked it, they were around my same age as well. I never saw that girl again or any of her friends. It was really weird. But she was like some weird, like, fairy godmother, I don't know, who just came and like reassured me to take the place. So, and also wanted to add, when I did go see the apartment, you know, I was very concerned about the whole being on top of the brunch spot and the noise. I made sure to see the apartment on a weekend, and it was, I think, on a Sunday or a Saturday, can't remember, like a brunch type of day, you know what I mean? And I saw it in the afternoon when brunch is popping, right? So when I went there, people were there, they're at the brunch. It was a decent day too, even though it was in the winter. And when I was in the unit, I didn't hear anything. Like, you may hear like a little bit of the music and the noise and the people, you know, whatever, but it wasn't what I expected. Like, I expected it to be like shaking the room, and it really wasn't. So that was another thing I wanted to add, because I wouldn't have signed it if it was loud, and that was my concern, but it ended up not being. So, like, I guess the way that they set up the windows and everything was really good at canceling out the noise, so that wasn't even a problem for me anymore once I viewed the place. And in general, yes, I didn't like the way it was when I went to go view it. You saw the video. But I think, one, the fact that it looked like that made it harder for them to get someone to sign a lease quickly. So it gave me kind of the advantage of probably being like the first person to see it and probably the only person to see that unit. I already saw it. It gave me kind of the power also to negotiate down the lease price, because they want to be able to rent it out. It's the winter time. Like, they're not going to probably get that many people who are going to come see it and be okay with like signing it and all that, you know what I mean? So I also think in some strange way that even helped my case in the long run. Weird, I know. So yeah, and in general, I will say, even though I didn't like the way the state of the apartment, what it looked like, I realized if I look past just like the debris, which could have just been, which it was, they actually did clean it up. If you want to know, like, it was fine when I moved in. If I looked past all of that, it had everything that I wanted. Like, it had a washer and dryer in the unit. It had temperature control. It had a gym in the building. It had a rooftop. It was a 5-minute walk from 4 train lines. It was near my favorite park. It, like, literally had a package room. What else? It had pretty much everything from, like, all of my must-haves, and like maybe half of the stuff from my nice-to-haves. So truly and honestly, I was like, okay, at the end of the day, this apartment has more than what I want. So yeah, I just need to look past the aesthetic of it as of right now, and just hope that they really will, you know, do what they said they're going to do, which is clean it up. And the super actually was cleaning it whilst I was looking at it, so I could see that they were planning on and currently were trying to clean and re-grill and everything. So yeah, there's that. And then the last thing I wanted to say was another big thing. Which is a little more like whimsical, but you know, might as well add it. I was on a big manifestation kick during the pandemic, and I'm saying that to say, like, I was manifesting getting my first 6-figure job in a tech company. Got that. Then I was manifesting big to be able to move into my own place in 2022. Got that. And when I mean I got that, I mean almost to a T. Like, there was a specific zip code I wanted to move to. That's where that apartment was. So it had literally everything, like everything that I could visualize in my brain whilst I was like meditating and doing my manifestations. Literally that apartment was. And but I will put this in too, I actually lost that job. And I signed my lease in March, but I lost my job in April, in early April at that. So funny enough, if I would have waited just a month, I wouldn't have even qualified for that apartment because I wouldn't have had any income. And I would have been too scared anyway to like move anywhere, you know, without a job. So the fact that I signed that lease and moved it in March, you know, I was confident because I had, you know, the salary that I did at the time, and that salary allowed me to qualify for that apartment without guarantor, all that good stuff. That's what allowed me to move there. And even though I ended up staying majority of my time in that apartment unemployed, it was great. Like I had so much free time to just do what I wanted to do, because I made sure to save up like at least a year's worth of expenses and savings. So that worked out in my favor because I was just pretty much living off my savings while I was over there. And I was like meeting up with my friends, making some new friends, taking Pilates classes. It was just great. I was all up and through the neighborhood, just exploring because I really love the neighborhood. And yeah, I can do a video more in depth about my whole manifestation journey. And I actually use YouTube videos in order to do it. So I can even like link those YouTube videos in that video and explain like what happened and some of the things I manifested and how it came about and all that good stuff. So yeah, just wanted to put that here just to let you know my entire journey of why I picked that particular apartment, even though it didn't seem like the best choice at the time. And also like the mind space that I was in when I picked it. So yeah, thank you for spending your time with me and watching this video. Look out for my empty apartment tour video, and also look out for my furnished apartment tour video. And I'll be looking in your comments to see what videos you want me to make next. Okay, bye.